Good morning. Welcome to the Millionaire Book Club. My name is Pearlie Hunter. Side effects of tapping in with me every single morning do include personal development, mindset transformations, paradigm shifts, and the ability to think your way to success. So I'm super blessed, super grateful. Thank y'all for being here Monday morning. Drop me something that you're grateful for in the chat if you haven't already. If you're watching this video live, go ahead and do it now. If you're watching a replay, definitely go ahead and do it. Drop me what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my spouse, my children. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my soul family. I'm grateful for nature. I'm grateful for divine guidance and love and light. I'm grateful for peace of mind. I'm grateful for awareness of self. I'm just grateful for everything and everyone. Grateful for technology, grateful for purpose, grateful for passion. So drop me something that y'all are grateful for. I am going to get the daily word read. Today is Monday, July 19th, and the word is inner peace, okay? So the peace of God is in my mind and heart. Whenever I feel unsettled about the changes happening in the outside world, I remember I have the power to determine my response. After all, if I can decide to be upset, with a little practice, I can decide not to be. Inner peace is the key to outer peace. I begin by settling my mind and softening my heart, finding peace within myself. I discover it was there all along, perhaps obscured for a bit by the din and clamor of the outside world. I focus my thoughts on peace and affirm quietly to myself, the news of the world has no power over me. I align my heart and mind with God and claim deep, lasting peace. I repeat this throughout the day to stay peaceful. When I choose peace, peace fills my mind and heart and lights my life. Seek peace and pursue it. Psalm 34:14. So that made me think about, I forgot which book that was we were reading, but I think it was The Power of the Subconscious Mind, where he basically said, anytime you having an issue with somebody or you get into it with somebody, don't give them the energy that they're giving you. Don't match their energy. Just say, God's peace fills your soul. God's peace fills your soul. I have yet to use that, but I want to use it. Like, I've been using it in a joking way, but I want to use it for real when somebody is really like upset with me or I'm upset with them, and I am able to like use that phrase to check myself and pull myself back, up to my vibration and alignment, not down to where somebody else is. All right, let's pull a card. 4 Agreements card deck. Did anybody drop what they grateful for? Y'all hard-headed this morning. Crystal just said, I am truly grateful for everything. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for you and our friendship. Chris said, me too, King. Perfect. All right. So we're going to use 2. Don't make assumptions. Ask for what you want. Don't make assumptions and ask for what you want. Find the courage to ask for what you want. Others have the right to tell you yes or no, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everybody has the right to ask you for what they want, and you have the right to say yes or no. Okay? And then always do your best. Honor yourself. Always do your best and honor yourself. Okay? Honor the man or woman that you are. Take the risk to express your dream. Taking action is about living fully and expressing what you are. Okay? Living fully and expressing what you are. I love that. So, okay, y'all. Chapter 5 continue because I read the beginning of this chapter a week ago. Okay. So I went back, I did my due diligence. I went back and watched the pre-recorded video from from the Friday before last, and I caught myself up on, what the first half of this chapter was about. So I hope you were able to do the same. If you were not, then the first half, thank you, King, you're so sweet. Look, if you didn't, go back and watch it. The first half of this book, the first half of chapter 5 was basically all about purpose, all about dharma and finding your dharma. And what is dharma? Dharma is that thing that you do the best with the least amount of effort, right? Basically what purpose is. And dharma is merging your natural skills, talents, and abilities, or the things that you love, with the universe, providing that for the universe because the universe needs it. Okay, so that's basically what your dharma is. And that's basically what all this chapter was about. And he talked about in the beginning how he came to find his dharma. And he said, in society, most times we are taught to just gravitate to one thing. Like we choose a profession and we work in that aspect of life for who knows how long, right? But as a monk, he was taught to, perfect every role, and not even perfect, but just educate yourself on everything. So know how to clean, know how to cook, know how to do all of this stuff, right? And we are gravitated. We do it all generally K through 12, go to college, and we pick one thing, and that's how we operate. Okay, that's not probably operating in your dharma. All right. What else did he say? He talked about, it was a question that he had. Where is it? So he talked about these quadrants, okay? Quadrants of potential. And this is where I'll start. I'm starting on page 102, align with your passion, okay? In order to unveil our dharma, we have to identify our passions, the activities we both love and are naturally inclined to do well. It's clear to anyone who looks at the quadrants of potential that we should be spending as much time as possible at the upper right and quadrant 2, doing things that we're both good at and love. But life doesn't always work out that way. In fact, many of us find ourselves spending our careers in quadrant 1, which is skills but no passion. That's what quadrant 1 is. Working on things that we're good at but don't love. When we have time to spare, we hop over to quadrant 4, which is no skill but passion, to indulge the hobbies and extracurriculars that we love. Right? So dharma is about merging the two. Even though we never have enough time to become as good at them as we would like. Everyone can agree that we want to spend as little time as possible in quadrant 3. It's super depressing to hang out there. And quadrant 3 is no skill and no passion. Okay? It's super depressing to hang out there, doing things we don't love and aren't good at. So the question is, how can we move more of our time toward quadrant 2, doing things we are good at and love? You'll notice that I don't discuss the quadrants in numerical order. This is because quadrants 1 and 4 both offer half of what we want. So it makes sense to discuss them first. Okay? And this is the question. How can we move more of our time and energy toward skill and passion, which is quadrant 2, doing things we are good at and love? Okay, so I want to just show y'all this, what I'm looking at, just so y'all can, piece it together in your brain. These are the quadrants of potential. And we all should be striving to be at 2. Let me show you 2. Okay. Quadrant 1, good at but don't love. Getting from here to quadrant 2 is easier said than done. Say you don't love your job, Most of us can't just leap into a job we love that miraculously comes with a generous salary. A more practical approach is to find innovative ways to move toward quadrant 2 within the jobs that we already have. What can you do to bring your Dharma where you are? When I first left the ashram, I took a consulting job at Accenture, a global management consulting firm. We were constantly dealing with numbers, data, and financial statements, and it quickly became clear that a talent for Excel was essential in order to excel in my position. But Excel was not my thing. In spite of my efforts, I couldn't force myself to get better at it. I just wasn't interested. As far as I was concerned, it was worse than mucking out the cow stalls. So, while I continued to do my best, I thought about how I could demonstrate what I was good at. My passion was wisdom and tools for life, like meditation and mindfulness. So I offered to teach a mindfulness class to my working group. The lead managing director loved the idea, and the class I gave was popular enough that she asked me to speak about mindfulness and meditation at a company-wide summer event for analysts and consultants. I would speak in front of 1,000 people at Twickenham Stadium, the home stadium of England's national rugby team. When I got to the stadium, I found out that my turn at the podium was sandwiched between words from the CEO and Will Greenwood, a rugby legend. I sat in the audience listening to the lineup, thinking, crap, everyone's going to laugh at me. Why did I agree to do this? All the other speakers were at the top of their fields and so articulate. I started to have second thoughts about what I had planned to say and how to deliver it. Then I went through my breathing exercises, calmed myself down, and 2 seconds before I went on stage, I thought, just be yourself. I would do my own Dharma perfectly instead of trying to do anyone else's. Okay, so from from the beginning of chapter 5, when he say, I will do my own Dharma perfectly instead of trying to do anyone else's, he basically broke down how it's much more fulfilling, a much more richer and fulfilling life when you operate in your purpose and your Dharma and the things that you love and like, not trying to copy somebody else, right? Not trying to be somebody else. You can never be somebody else because you can only be who you are. I went up, did my thing, and afterward, the response couldn't have been better. The director who had organized it said, I've never heard an audience of consultants and analysts stay so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Later, she invited me to teach mindfulness all across the company in the UK. Okay, so see how he merged his Dharma, his passion, right, with skill, and now he loves what he does. He merged the two. He made it to quadrant 2, passion and love, skill and passion. Excuse me. This was a tipping point for me. I saw that I hadn't just spent 3 years of my life learning some weird monk-only philosophy that was irrelevant outside the ashram. I could take all my skills and put them into practice. I could actually fulfill my Dharma in the modern world. P.S. I still don't know how to use Excel. Instead of making a huge career change, you can try my approach. Look for opportunities to do what you love in the life you already have. You never know where it might lead. Leonardo DiCaprio hasn't given up acting or producing, yet he also directs significant energy towards environmental advocacy because it's part of his Dharma. A corporate assistant might volunteer to do design work. A bartender can run a trivia contest. I worked with a lawyer whose true passion was to be a baker on the Great British Bake Off. Good morning, Michelle. Welcome, Queen. That goal felt unrealistic to her, so she got a group of her colleagues obsessed with the show, and they started Baking Mondays, where every Monday, someone on her team brought in something they made. She still worked just as hard and performed well at a job that she found slightly tedious, but bringing her passion to the water cooler made her team stronger and made her feel more energized throughout the day. If you have 2 kids and a mortgage and can't quit your job, do as the lawyer did and find a way to bring the energy of your Dharma into the workplace, or look for ways to bring it into other aspects of your life, like your hobbies, home, and friendships. Okay? Also, consider why you don't love your strengths, right? Consider why you don't love your strengths. Can you find a reason to love them? I often encounter people working corporate jobs who have all the skills required to do good work, but they find the work meaningless. Aria, you got to be quiet for me, honey. But they find the work meaningless. The best way to add meaning to an experience is to look for how it might serve you in the future. If you tell yourself, I'm learning how to work in a global team, or I'm getting all the budgeting skills I'll need if I open a skate shop one day, then you can nurture a passion for something that may not be your first choice. Link the feeling of passion to the experience of learning and growth. Psychologist Amy Wrzesniewski from the Yale School of Management and colleagues study hospital cleaning crews to understand how they experience their work. One crew described the work as not particularly satisfying and not requiring much skill. And when they explained the tasks they performed, it basically sounded like the job description from the personnel manual. But when the researchers talked to another cleaning crew, they were surprised by what they heard. The second group enjoyed their work, found it deeply meaningful, and described it as being highly skilled. When they described their task, the reason for the distinction between the crews started to become clear. The second crew talked not just about typical custodial chores, but also about noticing which patients seemed especially sad or had fewer visitors, and making a point to start a conversation or check in on them more often. They related incidents where they escorted elderly visitors through the parking structure so they wouldn't get lost, even though the custodians technically could have gotten fired for that. One woman said she periodically switched the pictures on the walls among different rooms. When asked if this was part of her job, she replied, "That's not part of my job, but that's part of me." Okay? From this study and subsequent research, Wrzesniewski and her colleagues created the phrase job crafting to describe what employees do to redesign their own jobs in ways that foster engagement at work, job satisfaction, resilience, and thriving. According to the researchers, we can re-engineer our tasks, relationships, or even just how we perceive what we do, such as custodians thinking of themselves as healers and ambassadors. The intention with which we approach our work has a tremendous impact on the meaning we gain from it and our personal sense of purpose. Learn to find meaning now, and it will serve you all your life. Okay? Oh, how funny. My T quote is about purpose. It say, may you create peaceful harmony as your life's purpose, right? So why is it so important to merge skill and passion? Because if you are letting your skills define who you are, when that skill is gone, then who are you, right? Do you still know who you are? Do you still have a purpose? Are you still valuable? So many people, they get into these positions or they learn these skills and they become the skill, right? And you're not the skill. You're just good at the skill. You're bringing something to the skill. Okay. All right. Quadrant 4. Not good at, but love. Y'all try to be a little quieter for me, okay? Y'all doing good. Quadrant 4. Not good at, but love. When our passions aren't lucrative, we deprioritize them. Then we feel frustrated that we love an activity, but can't do it well or frequently enough to fully enjoy it. The surest route to improving skills is always time. The surest route to improving skills is always time. Can you use coaching, take courses, or get training to improve at what you love? Impossible, you say. If I had time to do that, believe me, I would. We will talk about how to find non-existent time in the next chapter. But for now, I will say this. Everyone has time. We commute, or we cook, or we watch TV. We may not have 3 hours, but we have 10 minutes to listen to a podcast or learn a new technique from a YouTube video. You can do a lot in 10 minutes. Aria, lower your voice, honey. You can do a lot in 10 minutes. Sometimes when we tap into our Dharma, it carves out the time for us. Adrian, I need you to get Aria. She not listening. Or who is that talking? That's little Matt. Sorry, y'all. Matt. Keep it cute. Keep it cute, boo. Okay? Keep it cute. Okay. Sorry, y'all. This is why I canceled last week, so we won't have to keep getting these interruptions. Okay? We commute, or we cook, or we watch TV. We may not have 3 hours, but we have 10 minutes to listen to a podcast or learn a technique from a YouTube video. You can do a lot in 10 minutes. Sometimes when we tap into our Dharma, it carves out the time for us. You hear that? Sometimes when we tap into our Dharma, it carves out the time for us. Okay? So when we do the things we love, right? When you push your vision starts to pull you. Okay? You start getting more opportunities to do what you love, what you really truly love and like. Not just day in and day out going somewhere where you don't really like it. You just feel like you have to do this to be, whatever, financially stable or whatever. When I first started making videos, I worked on them after I got home from my corporate job. 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, I focused on editing 5-minute videos. For a long time, the return on investment was pitiful, but I wasn't willing to write myself off before trying to make the most of my skill. Okay? In the years since, I've seen people monetize the weirdest things. Spend any amount of time on Etsy and you'll be amazed at how many people have found ways to make money off their passions. However, if the world is sending you a very strong message that it won't pay for or does not otherwise need or want your passion, then fine, accept that. There's a critical need for soccer in the world, but there's no need for me to play soccer. Still, the soccer matches I organized at Accenture were the highlight of my week. If it's not your Dharma, it can still give you joy. Okay. Quadrant 3. So quadrant 4 was not good at but love. Now quadrant 3 is you not good at it and you don't love it. Okay. Do whatever you can to crawl out of this soul-sucking quadrant. Soul-sucking. You will always have unpleasant chores, but they shouldn't be the biggest part of your life. If at all possible, you should work toward outsourcing the chores in this category. Hurt the pocket, save the mind. And remember, just because you don't like it doesn't mean nobody likes it. Can you work out a trade with a friend or colleague where you take on each other's least favorite task? If you can't offload the chore, remember the lesson I learned at the ashram. Every task is an essential organ. None is less important than the others, and none of us is too important to do any chore, right? You want to be well-rounded. And nobody is too important to do any chore. You don't get enough education or build yourself up too much to a point where you feel like you're too good to do, everybody does everything in the monks. With the monk, man. If you think you're too good for something, you succumb to the worst egotistical impulses and you devalue anyone who does that chore. Okay? If you think you're too good for something, you succumb to the worst egotistical impulses. Okay? And you devalue anyone who does that chore. Right? Even if you don't do it consciously, you might be doing it subconsciously. Aria and Matt. So I'm not going to ask y'all this too many more times, okay? We had a talk about what's going on here. I need y'all to be mindful of what I got going on, okay? Be quiet. Thank you. Okay. When you're satisfied in your dharma, you can, without envy or ego, appreciate others who are good at another skill. I have great respect for people who can do Excel. I just don't want to do it myself. When I encounter doctors or soldiers or people in any number of other careers, I think that's extraordinary. It's amazing, but it's not me. Try this. Identify your quadrant of potential. You may have been doing this exercise in your head as you read about the quadrants of potential. Nonetheless, I want you to go through the exercise of acknowledging how close you are to living your dharma today. Do you like your job? Do you love your job? Are you good at your job? Do other people need and appreciate your work? Is your greatest skill or passion outside your work? What is it? Do you dream of making it your work? Do you think this is an attainable dream? Do you think there might be ways you could bring your passion to your work? Write down any ideas you have for bringing your passion to the universe. Okay? Now, quadrant 2 is where we all want to be. Aria and Matt, quiet down. Quadrant 2 is where we all want to be. Skill and passion. Okay? Skill and passion. We want to live in quadrant 2, where we spend our time using our talents to do what we love. If we aren't there, we examine the problem the monk way. Instead of looking at specific skills you've developed and specific activities that you love, we look beyond them to their roots. The Bhagavad Gita contemplates dharma by dividing us into 4 personality types, what it calls varnas. There are 4 varnas, and knowing your varna tells you your nature and competence. In relatively recent history, during the 19th century, when British leaders imposed their own rigid class system on Indian society, the varnas emerged as the basis for the caste system. Though castes, a hierarchy of job categories, were based on the Varnas, this is a misinterpretation of the text. I'm not talking about the caste system here. I believe that all of us are equal. We just have different talents and skills. My discussion of the Varnas is about how to harness these skills and talents to live to your fullest potential. The different personality types are meant to work together in a community, like the organs in a body. Okay, I love that. The different personality types are meant to work together in a community, like the organs in a body, all essential and none superior to the others. Varnas aren't determined by birth. They're meant to help us understand our true nature and inclinations. You're not creative just because your parents are. No one Varna is better than another. We all seek different types of work, fun, love, and service. There is no hierarchy or segregation. If two people are both acting in their best dharma, living for the service of others, then neither is better than the other. Is a cancer researcher better than a fireman? Try this, the Vedic personality test. This simple test is not an absolute determination of your personality type, but it will help as you seek out your dharma, okay? And it says, see the appendix for the Vedic personality test. So if you want to go check that out, this is page 109 that I'm looking at right now for the try this, okay? Let's talk about these Varnas though. The Varnas. The four Varnas are the guide, the leader, the creator, and the maker. The guide, the leader, the creator, and the maker. These labels aren't directly tied to specific jobs or activities. Sure, certain activities bring us pleasure because they fulfill our dharma, but there are many different ways to live in our dharma. A guy, as you will see on page 112, is compelled to learn and share knowledge. Okay? A guy is compelled to learn and share knowledge. I might be a guide, y'all. You could be a teacher or a writer. A leader likes to influence and provide. But that doesn't mean you have to be a CEO or a lieutenant. You could be a school principal or shop manager. A creator likes to make things happen. This could be a startup or in a neighborhood association. A maker likes to see things tangibly being built. They could be a coder or a nurse. So maybe I'm a maker because I am a nurse in this box, right? Your little ones will be so much more from the dharma you display now, Queen. Thank you. Thank you. I hope so. I'm grateful. Because it took me some time to get here, y'all. Okay. Remember the gunas, tamas, rajas, and sattva. Ignorance, impulsivity, and goodness. For each of the varnas, I describe what their behavior looks like in each guna mode. We strive towards sattva through letting go of ignorance, working in our passion, and serving in goodness. The more time we spend in sattva, the more effective and fulfilled we become. Okay? So let's talk about creators. Creators originally are merchants or business people. Today, they can be found as marketers, salespeople, entertainers, producers, entrepreneurs, CEOs. The skills that they have are brainstorming, networking, and innovating. They make things happen. They can convince themselves and others of anything. They are great at sales, negotiation, and persuasion. They are highly driven by money, pleasure, and success. They are very hardworking and determined. They excel in trade and commerce and banking. They are always on the move and they work hard and play harder. Okay. Now, creators' mode of ignorance. They become corrupt and sell things with no value. They lie, they cheat, they steal to sell something. They are beaten down by failure. They are burned out, depressed, moody due to overwork. Yep, definitely have. Mode of impulse. Status driven. Okay? Now we just had our mode of ignorance. Now we got our mode of impulse. What makes them react, right? What's their impulsivity? Status driven. Hustler, goal oriented, tireless. Dynamic, charismatic, and captivating. Okay? Mode of goodness. They use money for greater good. They create products and ideas that make money, but also serve others. They provide jobs and opportunities for others. Okay? These are creators. Now let's talk about the makers. Makers originally were artists, musicians, creatives, and writers. Today, they can be found as the world's social workers, therapists, doctors, nurses, COOs, heads of human resources, artists, musicians, engineers, coders, carpenters, and cooks. The skills that they are good at are inventing, supporting, and implementing. Their mode of ignorance is they're depressed by failure. They feel stuck and unworthy, and they feel anxious. Their mode of impulse, they explore and experiment with new ideas. They juggle too many things at the same time. They lose focus on expertise and care and focus more on money and results. Mode of goodness, driven by stability and security, generally content and satisfied with the status quo. Choose meaningful goals to pursue. Work hard, but always maintain balance with family commitments. Best right-hand man or woman. Lead team gatherings. Support those in need. Highly skilled at manual professions. Okay? And connections. Makers and creators complement each other. Makers make creators focus on detail, quality, gratitude, and contentment. Creators help makers think bigger and become more goal-oriented. Okay? I like that. So if, this could be a good guide to see what type of person that you're dealing with, right? The type of people that you're surrounding yourself by. Do I even mesh well with these people? Can we grow together? Can they help me grow? Guides. Originally a guide, and today, teachers, guides, gurus, coaches, and mentors. Skills. Learning, studying, sharing knowledge, and wisdom. Aria and Matt, quiet it down. A coach and a mentor, no matter what role they play, want to bring out the best in people in their life. Value knowledge and wisdom more than fame, power, money, or security. They like having space and time to reflect and learn. They want to help people find meaning, fulfillment, and purpose. They like to work alone. They enjoy intellectual pursuits in their spare time, like reading, debate, or discussion. Mode of ignorance. Don't practice what they preach. Don't lead by example. Struggle with implementation. Mode of impulse. Love to debate and destroy others' arguments. Use knowledge for strength and power. Intellectually curious. Mode of goodness. Use knowledge to help people find their purpose. Aspire to better themselves in order to give more. Realize knowledge is not theirs to use alone, but that they are here to serve. Okay? And then leaders. Originally, they were kings and warriors. This is Think Like a Monk, Michelle, by Jay Shetty. It's at Target. I seen this book at Target the other day for like $20. It's like $18 at Target, but you can definitely get it cheaper on Amazon. Okay. Okay, so leaders. Originally, these were kings and warriors. Today, they are the world's military, justice, law enforcement, and politics. Okay, people in government. Skills, governing, inspiring, and engaging others. Natural leaders of people, movements, groups, and families. Directed by courage, strength, and determination. They protect those who are less privileged. They are led by higher morals and values and seek to enforce them across the world. They provide structures and frameworks for the growth of people. They like to work in teams. They are great at organization, focus, and dedication to a mission. Mode of ignorance. They give up on change due to corruption and hypocrisy. They develop a negative, pessimistic viewpoint. They lose moral compass and drive for power, right? They lose moral compass and drive for power. Mode of impulse. Build structures and frameworks for fame and money, not meaning. Okay? Use their talents to serve themselves and not humanity. They focus on short-term goals for themselves. Mode of goodness. They fight for higher morals, ethics, and values. Inspire people to work together and build long-term goals to support society. Okay? Now, this is the part I'm excited about. How do all this connect? The connections. Guides and leaders complement each other. Guides give wisdom to leaders. Leaders give structure to guides. The point of the Varnas is to help you understand yourself so you can focus on your strongest skills and inclinations. Self-awareness gives you more focus. When I look at my guide tendencies, it makes sense to me that I succeed when I focus on strategy. Creators and makers are better at implementation, so I've surrounded myself with people who can help me with that. A musician might be a maker driven by security. In order to succeed, they might need to be surrounded by strategists. Invest in your strengths and surround yourself with people who can fill in the gaps. When you know your Varna, your passion and skills, and you serve with that, it becomes your Dharma. Okay? So what is this saying? This is giving us that grace to not try to be this perfect person, right? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything. But what you do have, harness that, build it, strengthen it, and then surround yourself with people who have what you feel you lack, right? You don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to have it all, know it all. But you are good at something, whatever that is for you individually. Harness that, give energy to that, give power to that, grow that, and then surround yourself with other people. Okay? I'm trying to see if we're going to stop it right here. Okay? Let me read this, try this. I hate to have to do this chapter again tomorrow, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Try this. Reflected best self exercise. Be quiet for me, y'all. I'm almost done. Number 1, choose a group of people who know you well. Matt. Okay. Choose a group of people who know you well, a diverse mix of people you've worked with, family and friends. As few as 3 will work, but 10 to 20 is even better. Number 2, ask them to write down a moment when you were at your best. Ask them to be specific. Okay? Write down a moment when you were at your best. Number 3, look for patterns and common themes. Look for patterns and common themes. Number 4, write out a profile of yourself, aggregating the feedback as if it weren't about you. And number 5, think about how you can turn your best skills into action. How can you use those skills this weekend in different circumstances or with different people? Okay. So I'm going to stop it right here. We got about 6 more pages left of this chapter, and my babies is over here getting antsy, and I got to go wake my big girl up. She got dance camp in an hour. So I'm going to stop it here. We're going to pick up again with chapter 3 tomorrow, page 115. And we're going to start with Test Drive Your Dharma. This video is recorded on YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch this replay, you can. Look, they like, oh, you done. It's over. We loud now. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you caught me as well, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate y'all so much. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm grateful. Y'all have a super fantastic day. Protect y'all energy today. Protect y'all peace today. Be a light. Be responsible for your energy. Our energy is our new identity, of course. So be responsible for it. Don't allow other people to control your energy. Don't give them your power and say, I want to match energy. No, you don't match energy. You just maintain your good ass vibration and your good ass energy. And you allow other people to elevate to where you are. You don't go down to where they are. Okay. So y'all have a good day. I see y'all in the morning. I'm so glad that we back and we better, right? I missed y'all so much last week, and I see y'all in the morning. All right. See y'all in the morning.